welcome you into the Mason Arena for one of the final home GMC games of the 25-26 high school basketball season. It is the 1-13 Middletown Middies taking on your 14-5 Mason Comets. Hi again, everybody. Welcome in. Daniel Panetti joined alongside James Froelich for today's game. And James, this is the second time these two teams have met. It is pink out night here on Friday night, an electric atmosphere here in Mason, Ohio. We got a good one on our hands today.
Yeah, and this is one of the last games of the season for both teams, and both teams have really had two very different regular seasons. Middletown having one of their worst seasons, if not their worst season in the past almost 20 years. Mason, on the other side, really had a comeback season with Coach Fleming stepping in as the next head coach.
It has been a perfect season for this Mason Comet team. Very little expectations, but exceeding those heavily. Keith Daniels is the man engineering this offense at the top for the Middletown Middies. You look at him, a four-year player for this Middletown team. He had 12 points last game. He assists the ball just as good as anyone else, and he steals the ball better than almost anyone else. That is third in the GMC, about 3 per game. A guy who, if he's going to be playing well, it can give Middletown a chance, but he's going to need to be playing his best basketball.
Yeah, and he's pretty much their most consistent player, so when we look at them tonight, he's going to really have to get going early.
Bryson Johnson on the boys' side. You've heard his name a lot of times if you're a Mason fan, and that is for good reason. Bryson Johnson is not only the best player on this Mason team, he's one of the best players in the Cincinnati area. 16.8 points per game. That is good for top 3 in the GMC. He's the best free throw shooter in the conference as well. A guy who is, we talk about guys who can take over games. Bryson Johnson will take over games.
He definitely will, and there's some games that really he doesn't. So this game, he's going to really have to get going early and not get in a cold slump.
The storyline for tonight is the team with the best defense versus the team with the worst defense. Middletown averages 60 points is what they give up to most teams. That is dead last in the conference. For Mason, it is 40. A best in the GMC. That is a 20-point difference out of anybody. But you look, or out of Middletown, excuse me. But you look at this Mason team. They score the least. They average only 41 points a game. They rebound the worst, 17.7 out of everyone in the GMC. That is dead last. Yet they are almost triple above 500, a team that just finds ways to win.
Yeah, and like you said, their offense really not as consistent, but their defense really keeps them in all these games. So their defense, they're going to be consistent again tonight.
The Mason Comets are looking to try and cap off an incredible season here in the 25-26 calendar year. For Middletown, it's just end your season with a win and go out on a high note. That's it for the pregame. Once we see you, it is tip-off from the Mason Arena. Middletown and Mason coming up next.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Arena for tip-off. It is pink out night here for the Mason Comets, one of the final home games of this season. Tip is away, and it's already almost going to go out of bounds. Finch is able to keep it in for the Middletown Middies. Starting it out, it is Keith Daniels up top. He will be engineering this offense today for the Middletown Middies. He is guarded by Sid Wortham, one of the bigger breakout guys for the Mason Comets so far this year. Out to 15 is Jason Bourne, a backup quarterback for the Middletown Middies football team, who had such an incredible year. Now Ward sets it up to the top. We mentioned this Mason defense, one of the top in the conference. Bourne all the way. Foul going on the shots. He will head to the line. Already one quick foul for the Comets, and Middletown with a chance to strike first.
Yeah, something that's been an issue for this Comet team these past couple of games late in the season has really been foul trouble. I mean, early in games, sometimes they can catch themselves in fouls. So especially heading into this first half, you got to start hot and really play tough defense. You want to get a feel for this Middletown offense, but you don't want to play too much where you're fouling.
First one is up and through. Middletown a 1-0 lead here early in just the first couple of seconds. That foul went against Tosin Aladapo for the Mason Comets. Mason team that isn't in foul trouble a lot. It is actually Middletown that is in foul trouble a lot. You'll see on this defensive possession, as the second one rattles, it doesn't go. Tyler Lupinski gets the rebound. Middletown is going to be playing close and fast defense. And already the Comets being able to break it. Wortham, one-on-one, the foul. Doesn't get the finish, but just like Bourne on the Middletown side, he is heading to the free throw line.
Yeah, we can see Middletown off that first play really running a tight full court press. Really trying to get a feel for this Comet team, because we've seen that teams that do start with a full court press against the Comets sometimes do get the advantage early in the first half.
First free throw is no good for Sid Wortham. Sid Wortham, who only had 2 points last game versus Cincinnati College Prep. One of the out of conference games that the Mason Comets play. Second one is good. So it's 1-1 on both sides. All the way in. There's going to be a foul. No shots. Running in all the way was Daniels. And you're going to probably be seeing that a lot. We talk about Keith Daniels, kind of that Bryson Johnson aspect in a way, if he's been on varsity for just as long as you can be as a senior in his 4th year. So Middletown will throw it in. Finch finds Daniels on the left side, being guarded by Jacob Lupinski. Pass, and it's just right into the hands of Tosin Aladapos. He's able to bring it in. A couple defenders behind him, and he will just reset the offense. So with the Mason Comets, they suffered their worst loss of the season versus Lakota East Thunderhawks just this past Friday, but then 2 out-of-conference games, College Prep and the Elder Panthers, where they were able to go on the away side and take care of business both times, both Monday and Tuesday. So nice job from Mason, getting themselves back in the win column now on a 2-game win streak. But in GMC-wise, they've been cold. Mid-range jumper for Johnson, way too short, and is rebounded by Middletown. Finch on the left side, guarded by Johnson. Ward comes up to the top of the key, now gets it outright to Keith Daniels.
Middletown's going to have to test this Comet defense early, really test what they're going to give them and allow for them to do.
Going all the way, floater up, swirls the iron, and does go. So there's a quick basket there for Ward, and it is now 3-1 for the Middletown Middies. Bounce pass to Johnson from Lupinski, now resetting to Tosin Aladapo. Bit of a zone look defensively for this Middletown team. Tyler Lupinski, who had his best game of the season versus the Elder Panthers, where he had 15 points. And Jacob Lupinski all the way in, off the glass, and connects.
Great play by Jacob Lupinski there, really using his size to really take advantage of these defenders.
And as of right now, Middletown looking to be without Cale Curtis, number 5. 6'9", one of the taller guys in the GMC conference. But in place for him, number 15, Bourne. That shot too short. And on the rebound is Jacob Lupinski. Now the Comets trying to make something in transition. Pass, brother to brother, almost goes out. Kicks it to Johnson, mid-range shot. And that one's too far this time. Johnson, who had his first shot right over there, was too short. That time, air ball's too far. Cold start for the Mason Comets. On that 2 on the other side was Amir Nevers, number 21. Cruz Scott, the freshman, checking in for the Mason Comets. And what a story the past week that Cruz Scott has been for this team.
100%. I mean, he's really stepped up to a role that Fleming has given him these past couple of games as really being a player who can really be aggressive on the offensive side while also being aggressive on the defensive.
That's who the Mason Comets were missing all the way, coast to coast. On top of Sidney Wortham was Keith Daniels. Mason defensively was wanting to get a charge. Nothing was called, and the game gets free. There's that tight defense. Tyler Jacob Lupinski swirls around. Nice play there from the senior. And a timeout is called by Mason. The Comets burn their first timeout. We are tied at 5. 5 minutes left to go here in the first.
Great sequence by both teams there. I mean, both teams really taking advantage of the defense, as you see Lupinski on that play, but you see Daniels here really taking advantage, really pushing through, getting that lay. And then you see Lupinski on this side playing it to his brother, get it for another easy 2, really get both Lipinski's going early.
So these two teams met earlier this year, January 16th. It was a 55-37 win for the Mason Comets. Going into halftime, the Comets pretty much just held the lead the entire time. It was 18-13 after the first. In the second quarter, Mason really pulled away, 19-9 in that second quarter, and the Mason was just able to really cruise along. It was led by Bryson Johnson, 17 points. Sid Wortham had 14. And on the Middletown side, a lot of scoreless. Elijah Harris, one of the main guys who isn't starting today, but a lot of guys on this Middletown team were held scoreless. It was Mario Rose, who we haven't seen yet today, had 14 points. That was the most for that Middletown team on the 16th. But right now, tied up. Daniels moving on Oladapo. That is Toby Oladapo in now for the Mason Comets. And going in, it got away from Ward from Jacob Lipinski. Ball's on the ground, nobody wants it. Deflected away, and Bourne just goes up with the mid-ranger. Doesn't go. And out of bounds, Sid Wortham was going with it, and they're gonna say it was out on him. It stays with Middletown. Neither team was wanting to get possession there.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a sloppy possession there for both teams, like you said, but Middletown here really getting these advantages. They're gonna really have to force Comets to pull off some turnovers if they were gonna want to pull off an upset tonight.
Now less than 5 minutes left to go here in the first. Finch to throw it in under the Comet basket. Tight defense from Oladapo on Keith Daniels. Mentioned Keith Daniels, only 6 points in that first meeting between the Comets and the Middies. That was now Hunter, number 2 in for Middletown. Middletown has been hit with injuries a lot so far this season. Not a lot of guys who have played this entire year, as Bourne's gonna go to the line after the foul. But you look at Keith Daniels, he's played all the games, and then outside of that, you got Lynn Finch, a couple other guys, number 10, Micaiah Hill. But other than that, a team that has been riddled with injuries, and you don't want to put a jinx out there, but it's almost the opposite for the Mason Comets. They've had the same exact starting lineup every single game this year. First free throw rattles in and out for Bourne. We are still knotted up at 5. 4:35 left to go. Mason just looking to find a way to not let the Middletown team, who hasn't played with the lead a whole lot this year. They've only won one game. That was versus Coleraine, as they now take a 1-point lead thanks to the free throw. But trying to end up playing their brand of basketball. It's a Mason team that always starts out games cold, James. This is a team where, especially in the first half, they'll be colder. Lipinski, a 3 from the corner, and that one goes. First 3 of the day for the Mason Comets, it's Tyler Lipinski.
Tyler Lipinski's been a player, too, that in some games, especially at home, like he can really get going from beyond the arc, and that's a great way to start his game.
Daniels now being guarded by Johnson, gets the screen from Ward, pulls up jumper. That one rattles off the board. Trying on the box out, and throwing it off of Connor Chaney was Landon Finch. So we mentioned Chaney, the other freshman alongside of Cruz Scott, who's been getting a lot of minutes over these past couple of games. And Chaney had 11 points at Elder. That was 2 games ago. And both of these freshmen, we mentioned getting a lot of time because Mason has been getting held without offense a lot of times outside of Bryson Johnson, who's really been that pioneer of this Mason team so far this year. But a couple freshmen really helping. Turnaround. What a shot there on the Middletown side. And that's going to give them a bigger lead. Excuse me, it gets it now to 8-8. Johnson fighting with it out of bounds. It stays with Mason. Taking another look at this. That's Ward on that fadeaway, turning around. Not much there you can do defensively, just perfect execution on the shot. It's now Cooper, who's playing defense, checks out. Johnson going all the way to the right side, carved his way through a hole of defenders. Yeah, Bryson Johnson does that a lot.
Yeah, great job by Bryson Johnson. Really, like you said, he does do that consistently. And the games that he gets hot, that's how he does.
Ward gets the rebound off of the 3 from Daniels. Now throws it out of bounds. He was looking for Daniels, who had to be cut by Coach Fleming before running into the Mason bench. Miscommunication on the pass. So far, JoJo Ward, the senior, has been having a pretty solid game. But you'll see the passing for Middletown is not one of their strengths. Johnson, Lupinski from the other corner. That one bounces between the rim and the iron and immediately goes back to the Mason Comets. They get a quick turnover, and now they can reset. Tyler Lupinski all the way, muscles his way through the paints. And there's the two. Tyler Lupinski looking to get himself going right here on Pink Out Night.
Yeah, great job by both Lupinskis there, really doing what they need to do on that play. You see Jacob, after that miss, he poked the ball out of that Middletown player's hands, got them the possession back, and then you see Tyler here pushing his way through, really controlling this defense and getting his own too.
Beautiful control with the right hand there from Lupinski. He was going on number 20, Landon Finch. And we've mentioned a couple times this year for the Lupinski twins, it feels like every game, kind of one is on and the other is kind of trailing a little bit behind. It feels like there really hasn't been many games where both Tyler and Jacob have gotten themselves really going. But so far, you know, Tyler has been having some consistency shooting. As we take a look in the black hole, we mentioned it is Pink Out Night, one of the bigger traditions in the Mason area, just one game before senior nights. For the Mason Comets, that's this upcoming Tuesday versus Oak Hills. But if you're able to get both Lupinskis, and on the Jacob side, number 23, he's more of that rebounder. He's going to be getting you those boards. Tyler's more of the shooter. But you want both number 13 and 23, those set of twins, to be playing their good basketball going into the playoffs.
Yeah, when both of them can get going, this Mason team can be very dangerous. I mean, both of these, obviously, as brothers, have had a bond for a very long time. So if they can both get going, they can both connect very easily and create a lot of opportunities for this Comet offense.
Both lacrosse stars as well, as the spring sports right around the corner. Wide open on the left side, a floater, and it goes. Nice answer back from the Middletown Middies. They're able to make it 12-10 here with 2 minutes 20 left. Tight defense from Hunter on Bryson Johnson, makes a move outright. Now on the wing, resets it to Sid Wortham. They exchange a couple of passes. Wortham moving left, stolen away. Keith Daniels and a move left. Nice play defensively there from the senior. Ward, a wing three. And the three-point shooting on both sides is now starting to click. Middletown has a lead, 13-12.
Middletown's doing a really great job early in this game, really moving that ball, really getting this Comet defense lost.
Lupinski faked it, now to Tyler, corner three, bullseye!
What a play by both Lupinskis again. Jacob with the pass out to his brother. Lupinski wide open again for another three.
Both teams exchange a couple of threes. It is now a 2-point lead for the Mason Comets. Finch now to Bourne on the right side, guarded by Bryson Johnson.
You're going to see this Mason defense really feel that momentum on their side right now, really play a little more aggressive.
Coach Fleming clapping for some urgency defensive-wise. Toby Aladapo guarding Keith Daniels. That's the guy you want to see guarding the one, is Toby Aladapo. Going all the way. A little bit of movement, a floater. And what a finish there from Daniels. The floaters for this Middletown team have been working.
Yeah, Daniels has done a really good job during this game, during this first quarter, really controlling this Mason defense, really taking those contested shots that most players really wouldn't take.
Double teamed is Johnson. And is that an over and back I think they called? It is going to be Middletown basketball. The pressure to Bryson Johnson becomes too much. And we talked about that urgency and that fast pace that Middletown plays with defensively. It works right there. Now Middletown, Daniels at the top, to Finch on the left side. Middletown can hold this down all the way. 20 seconds left to go. Oladapo with the defense. Daniels has nowhere to go. And now it's a whistle is called. Both teams will come towards the benches. Substitutions coming in for the Mason Comets.
That's something Toby Oladapo does well. He's really that big defensive unit for this Comet team that he'll be put in whenever there's big situations where he needs to play. where this Comet defense needs like a generator to really start up this defense, really get them playing aggressive.
It was a violation against Middletown. Now less than 10 seconds to go. Middletown is asking for Bryson Johnson to take it. Oh my! It doesn't matter how many defenders there are. Bryson Johnson will take it all the way, and at the end of the first quarter, it is a 17-15 lead for the Mason Comets.
Yeah, Bryson Johnson really getting hot early during this game. There's some games where we don't see him really do that as much. Maybe this Comet offense rushes a little bit, but he's done a great job really starting up this offense tonight.
Stay tuned. Once we come back, it's the second quarter here from the Mason Arena. The Comets up 2.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Our first item of business is a presentation, which is a swearing in of a new officer.
A freeze-on mayor with Mr. and Mrs. Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas.
Brings himself inside the 10. Touchdown, Marymount.
From the top of the key, Anna Habra ties the score.
Back for the second quarter here from the Mason Arena. The Comets will take it out on the side of the court. It is a 17-15 lead for Mason. And kind of an uncharacteristic first quarter for the Mason Comets because they have 17 points. A team that scores less than anyone in the GMC, almost to 20.
Yeah, both teams have really done a great job really getting each other's offenses going and really keying on both teams' defense.
Connor Chaney in for the Mason Comets, as well as Crew Scott, so both freshmen getting reps at the same time for Mason. Bryson Johnson being guarded heavily. Now out to Scott. Chaney exchanged him a couple of passes. You see how quick this Middletown team is moving. Scott, 3! Keep it going, freshman. It's all he shoots is threes.
Oh, yeah. I mean, ever since Coach Fleming has really started playing him a lot more, he's been their key player when it comes to shooting beyond the arc.
Daniels from the free throw line, and it goes. Crew Scott, that is his 12th shot of the year, and it is his 12th three-point attempt. Actually, it looks like they called it a 2. So excuse me, it was close. It looked like he was behind the 3. They called it 2. Johnson down at the block. Now Chaney exchanging with Scott. I think Scott may have thought it was a 3-2. What ball movement down low, and Lupinski gets the 2. This Mason team is moving smooth as butter.
100%. This Comet offense has really, throughout the past couple games, really went away from their own identity, because earlier in the season, we looked at them as a team that really took advantage of the no play clock in high school basketball.
Man,
and they really went slow, but they've really played a lot faster offense.
Keith Daniels cannot be stopped offensively for this Middletown Middies team. Every time that Mason is getting a shot or something, Daniels is going in transition himself, answering quickly. Couple subs in for the Mason Comets as both Chaney and Scott check out for Mason. Finch with Daniels being guarded by Toby Aladapo. We've seen this matchup already today. And a whistle called before the shot. It's going to be a foul against Oladapo. That is number 1 for the Mason Comets. Look at points. It's already 8 points for Keith Daniels. Tyler Lupinski has the most for the Mason Comets with 8 as well. So 6:17 left to go. It is a 2-point lead for the Mason Comets. Bourne over to Hunter. Hunter being guarded by Wortham. A lot of movement going around for this Middletown team. and it got away. He was looking for Finch, and he just wasn't expecting it. It went out of bounds. Miscommunication everywhere for this Middies offense so far.
Yeah, something about this Middies offense is really that throughout the season, they can really turn over the ball a lot, really unexpectedly. 16.3 turnovers per game, and they really can't turn the ball over that much, especially in this first half. When you're trying to get your team going, can't really do that much, especially against this really hot Comet defense.
That's going to be a foul against Nevers, acting as a wall as Johnson was going over left. Got to give some credit to Keith Daniels on that out-of-bounds throw, trying to make a Superman-style play and keep it in. Jacob Lupinski sets a screen on Hunter for Johnson. Johnson driving, stops at the free throw line. Cruz Scott back in for the Mason Comets. Pass down low to Scott, looking for Lupinski. Now Oladapo thought about the three, and a travel is called for Mason against Oladapo. So nothing offensively for Mason. Middletown will get it back. Can take that call how you want it. 5:36 left to go here in the second. Daniels with Oladapo, has the footing, gets by, now resets it. Comets congesting that paint very rarely, especially here in the second quarter, that Middletown has been finding open passes into the paint or the inside area. It's mainly just been someone driving. Hunter, three from the wing, and it goes. Both teams exchanging leads off of the three ball. It is 22-21 for Middletown. The offense been playing pretty well so far.
Yeah, and the reason for that is that both these teams are really taking advantage of ball movement against each other's defense.
Pass down, Oladapo didn't want to take it. Now Cole Swanson in for the Mason Comets. Hasn't seen a ton of playing time recently, especially with this lineup starting to get more congested with both Chaney and Scott. And a push called on Middletown. That's another foul against the Middies. That'll be number 2 this quarter with 4 minutes 40 left to go. And it looks like it's going to go on 15 Bourne. So it's foul number 2 against Middletown. This is a team that fouls a lot. Over the past couple of games, there have been many players who have had at least 3 personal fouls. And that strives because you see how quick they play defensively and how much that they like to pressure guys on the offensive side. But that's what leads to block and reach-in fouls. Comets throwing across court passes right now. And another foul as Wortham was trying to get it to Lupinski.
Yeah, especially in the second quarter, you're going to see this Comet offense kind of try to slow it down. After that first quarter, both teams really playing quick, playing fast. But in the second quarter, you're going to see Mason especially start to slow it down, really test this Middletown defense and see what they can do in the long run.
That was against Bourne again, so in just a couple of seconds, he now has 2 fouls. Cruz Scott being guarded by Finch. Man, alongside Toby Oladapo, Finch might be one of the more elusive defenders that you're seeing already. He's running to anyone who has the ball. There's no zone, there's no man. It's if anyone has the ball, number 20 is sprinting over to whoever has it. Cruz Scott on the left side now. Johnson at the top. Wortham right side gets it to Chaney. And Chaney has kind of been the guy who doesn't be looked at as much as Scott. Pulls up from the mid-range, hits the heel of the rim. Because Cruz Scott's had some huge moments. He had a big 3 as Daniels all the way. There were 3 Mason Comet defenders in the vicinity, and he's able to just take it up. Now he's in the double digits today. Timeout Mason.
Daniels has done a really great job during this first half. He's been able to really control this Middletown offense, especially in the transition game, as we see here, going off the fast break, getting the ball back from the Comet offense, and he just does it all himself, and that's something that he's really been doing really well all season, especially with him being consistent and not getting injured.
So in this timeout, this game maybe closer than both teams will kind of expect. Middletown a 3-point lead, thanks to not only the emergence of Keith Daniels so far, kind of putting this offense on his back, but also just Mason giving them some looks defensively. And both offenses have been doing a pretty solid job. Both teams in the 20s. Mason, they didn't even get to the 30s versus Lakota East. Now, granted, there's a defensive skill jump between these two teams in Middletown and Lakota East, but Middletown so far has just been shooting way better than you would expect on paper. This is a Middletown team coming into today. They shoot about 26% from the three-point line. That is worse in the conference. And they allow teams to shoot around 38%. That is the most out of any team in the conference. But so far, the three balls have been going pretty well.
Yeah, Middletown's been able to be consistent during this game, and that's something that, excuse me, especially during all this season, they've really been inconsistent, and that's a big problem, and that's why they've been 1-12 this year.
On 3:20 to go, Lupinski with some exchanges for the Mason Comets offensively. You don't want to go into halftime without a lead if you're Mason, especially in a game that on paper you're supposed to win cleanly. But I don't think this Mason team has really been expecting this style of defense. There's another foul against Middletown. That is 4. That one going against Finch. So one more puts Mason in the bonus. But I don't think we've seen a defense in the GMC attack as much as this Middletown team is right now.
Yeah, and you're going to see this Comet offense really, throughout all season, they've been able to really change the tempo.
Daniels the interception, the rejection from Johnson, but the second chance goes. So the block to no avail, a 5-point lead for Middletown. Cruz Scott, that inexperience as he was trying to get it to Johnson, but the interception happens and it leads to points for Middletown. Lupinski, oh, they're wanting a foul there, nothing called. Tyler now on the inside, and a push. That's number 5 for Middletown. So now Mason will be in the bonus. He's looking for Johnson. Daniels just plays it perfectly, going in all the way. Rejected, but hey, I'll take that, says Finch. Go up with the 2. Don't let that rejection mean anything. First free throw is good, 26-22.
Yeah, we're going to see out of this Comet offense, especially in this final 2.5 minutes, you're going to see they're really going to focus on controlling the tempo on this Middletown defense. They're going to really go for points, though, as well. So they're going to start playing a lot quicker on offense, get those points back, get a lead back before the end of the half, and then maybe they'll start to slow it down and really try to set up shots.
It has been 59 days since the Middletown Middies have last won a basketball game. That was 75-52 versus the Colerain Cardinals. And since then, they've lost 10 straight, but that doesn't mean that they're getting blown out by teams. They lost in overtime to Sycamore, 53-48. That was on January 8th. And then Hamilton and Fairfield, they came close. They lost by 5 to Hamilton, 7 to Fairfield. That Fairfield game, when you look at that, it was last Friday versus, it was at Fairfield. Take a look at these. We mentioned it's been Keith Daniels really here offensively, but that Fairfield game, Middletown was up 40-22 at halftime. And really what no one expected, a Fairfield team that beat Mason by 17 points just a couple of weeks ago. But then they were outscored 43-20 in the second half. They lost 67-60. And then that's just a rough way to go down. But so far, they're keeping one of the top GMC teams kind of in contention right now. Teams will come out of the timeout. 2 minutes and 31 left to go. Here in the first half, it is a 4-point lead for the Middletown Middies. Has already suffered a loss to the Mason Comets this year. Trying to make a stunning win on the Mason Pink Out night. One of the final GMC games of the year. A press look for the Mason Comets defensively. And Finch just runs right by Bryson Johnson. Now all the way, too short on the shot, fighting for the rebound, and the Comets bring it in. That was Hunter who was trying to bring it there. Now Mason Johnson, right hand off the glass. That might be the 4th time he's done that today, and still Middletown no answer. Finn should move left. Now Hunter guarded by Oladapo. Gets it to Ward on the right side, being guarded by Sid Wardham. Ward's been having a pretty solid game so far today. Whistle called. It's going to be a foul against Mason. And that's number 2 for Mason so far here in the second quarter. With about 1:49 left to go, it goes against Oladapo. That's Tosin Oladapo. That was his second. Far pass out to the left side. Now Hunter exchanging some passes on the perimeter. About 2:3 to go. 3 from the top. Takes a bounce left. In transition, Wortham tried to keep it in bounds. But they will call it out, and it will go with Middletown. Wortham unable to keep it in.
Yeah, unlucky missed opportunity right there for the Comets, but you're going to see, especially as Middletown offense, gain the ball back heading into halftime. They're really testing Coach Fleming during this game. So we're going to have to see heading into halftime how Coach Fleming can really adjust.
Whistle, we look at the clock. It is 1:24 left here in the second. So teams will come. It's like, I think they call a moving screen there on that. So Johnson will bring it up. Mason finding themselves down 1. Scott keeps it from going out. Double covered is Bryson Johnson. He's going to have to get rid of it. And a foul is called. Too much pressure defensively for Middletown. It's a foul on number 2, Hunter. And Johnson's going to go to the free throw line.
Yeah, it's something we're going to have to look at, especially in the second half when it's the third, fourth quarter. If this game is still close, we're going to have to see how is Middletown fouling, because if they're going to get over 5 fouls in these next couple of quarters, giving Mason the opportunity for bonus free throws, it's really not going to be the recipe for success for them for an upset tonight.
First one goes for Johnson, and the way, James, that this Middletown team is playing, you got to think you're going to be in bonus land a lot of today's game. Johnson, who has been to the line more than anyone in the GMC so far this season. He's approaching 140 free throw attempts. He's made about 107 of them. It isn't super common that you see a guy in the GMC with over 100 free throw attempts. But that is what Bryson Johnson does, as hits the second free throw. And mainly because of the style that Johnson plays. It's a guard averaging towards the top of the GMC in points per game. You would think three-pointers are his identity, but no, it's what you've been seeing a lot. Him driving up, using that right hand. Stolen away just by force is Lupinski. All the way, going in, fouled, collision on the court. Lupinski will head to the line. That is Tyler Lupinski. So he hit the ground hard, being helped up by a couple of his teammates, Wortham and Oladapo.
Yeah, great steal. Great steal right there by Tyler Lipinski, excuse me. Really just taking the ball really without asking, and then really just charging through that Middletown defense.
You don't need permission in basketball to take it. If it's right there, you're going to take it. It was Nevers who lost control of it. The first one hits off the front of the rim for Lupinski. 52.4 here in the first half. The Comets up 1. In a first half that has kind of been dominated a little bit in the score-wise by Middletown. Second one is good. It is a 2-point game with less than a minute to go. Wyatt Cooper checks in for the Mason Comets. Jacob Lupinski will check out. Haven't said Wyatt Cooper's name a whole lot today. A guy who's been the majority of a role player since coming back from an injury in the early season. But has hit a couple of big threes. He had a very big three versus McNicholas at the Cintas Center on the 28th of December. And the Comets picked up a nice win in the Holiday Hardwood Classic. Oladapo on Daniels. Gets it to Hunter at the top. Being guarded by Wortham. Now passes it down to Nevers. 25 left to go for Middletown. It appears they will just hold this down as long as they can. Sets the screen. Daniels fighting in all the way. Puts it up too much on the shot. Rebounded by Lupinski. Now quickly in transition. Johnson is going to have to reset. Didn't have anything open that he liked, so now starting it. 7 seconds left to go. There he goes. He's driving in, runs into a defender, and the foul is going to go against Bourne. Johnson is heading to the free throw line once again.
Yeah, great job by Bryson Johnson there. Really seeing that the clock was running low and just using the power that he has to really just force another foul to extend this lead a little bit more heading into the half.
Johnson with the chance to make it a 2-possession game going into halftime. First free throw is up, and it is good. Bryson Johnson has not had a 20-point performance since that Coleraine home game a couple weeks ago. The guy who started out this season scoring almost all of Mason's points. He had 26 in the season opener as his second free throw is good versus Fairmont. But since then, it's not like Bryson Johnson hasn't been playing as good. You can kind of say it's been a bit of an insurgence from the guys around him. It's also been Mason playing some of their lower scoring games. Three-pointers no good. Mason reclaims the lead in the second quarter and makes it 2 possessions as we head into halftime. It's been Bryson Johnson doing it himself, a pair of threes from Lupinski, and the Mason offense starting to click a little bit. We'll head to a break. Once we come back, it's the second half. Comets up 4.
There are a lot of words I would use to describe my daughter. Kind, strong, hilarious. When I think about how much she's experienced in her life, we can't help but be inspired by her every day. So really, we are the lucky ones. Learn more at adoptuskids.org.
If you love them enough to drive an hour to cheer them on as they get beat 11-0 in the rain, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the-right-seat to make sure they're correctly buckled in the back seat.
Throw that ball, Diane. Woo! You got this.
Hi. I'm your retirement fear. But don't be scared. You're still in pre-retirement.
Does that mean I have more time to plan?
Precisely. Here, this is pretirement.org.
Retirement savings options? Potential tax breaks.
Move.
This isn't scary. I'm doing it.
You got this.
Visit thisispretirement.org for free resources to help you customize your action plan.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy. It's a commitment. Especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is being prepared for the journey ahead. Love doesn't let any concerns go unsaid. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at NHTSA.gov/the right seat. Love protects.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day.
For decades, I've taught you everything I know. How to safely build a fire, and how to control the flames. But I can only teach wildfire prevention. Only you can prevent wildfires.
Temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Eyes forward. Don't drive distracted.
How do you know when you've made the right decision? It's the feeling you get in your gut. The one that tells you what's right or wrong. It's the one that says, sure, I can have a drink. Or the feeling that says, okay, I've been drinking. Now what? It's the voice inside you that says, I'm buzzed. Better leave the car when it's time to go. Plan ahead. Catch a sober ride. Buzz driving is drunk driving.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our every day.
Love is a lesson that doesn't end. It knows no conditions, so you better buckle in. Love keeps you on your toes. It never stops, only grows. Love isn't easy. It's a commitment. Especially when they're being their most resistant. Love is being prepared for the journey ahead. Love doesn't let any concerns go unsaid. Love is finding the right seat so you can take a breath. But remember, love isn't lax. It always double checks. Check that your kids are in the right seat at nhtsa.gov/the right seat. Love protects.
Back here for the second half from the Mason Arena. It is a 30-26 lead for the Mason Comets in what has been an offensive showing between both teams. I'm Daniel Panetti alongside James Froelich. James, take us through that first half.
Yeah, during this first half, we saw both of these offenses really get hot early in that first quarter. Then in the second quarter, we saw a little bit slower offenses from both. A lot of these defenses started to play a little more aggressive. But then we did see Middletown really start getting into foul trouble. 3 of their players have at least 2 fouls. So heading into the second half, they're really going to have to watch for that.
It has been the Keith Daniels show for the Middletown Middies. 10 points already in the first half. And what a solid job he's been doing for the Mason side. Both Bryson Johnson and Tyler Lupinski have been having a pretty solid game. Get Bryson Johnson, he has 10 points. Tyler Lupinski, 11, as he's hit a pair of 2 threes so far for this Mason team.
Yeah, and even Jacob Lipinski as well, the other Lipinski brother. Even though not as many points on the board, he's really been contributing a lot, especially in the assists and rebounds.
You've been seeing a different kind of ball movement offensively from the Mason Comets so far today. A lot of the times it's been pass it around the perimeter, find an open guy, but Mason has been catch, pass, catch, pass, catch, pass, and even throwing Hail Marys if you have to as well. And that's because we've mentioned it a couple of times. It has been Middletown playing super aggressively and fast on the defensive side. Pass down low to only Mason defenders. Johnson has a clear lane to the hoop, and he puts it off the glass, off that square. Bryson Johnson has the first points. Immediately, Daniels in transition, being guarded by Tosin Oladapo. Hunter gets the pass, now back to Daniels on the left side, who now brings it up to the Mason M. Pass down. Ward, mid-ranger, from the elbow, doesn't connect. And Mason gets the rebound. Here's where you want to see Mason start to really pull away, because it feels like in every Mason win, there's a quarter where they start dominating, and the rest of the other 3 quarters might look a little bit competitive, but then there's that one that they really start pulling away, and you want to see it happen here. Lupinski driving in, right hand, what a finish. What a game he's been having. That's 13 points for number 13 here today.
Yeah, this is a great start by both of the 2 players that have really been getting the most points for this Comet offense in that first half. Really a great way to get this offense going early in the second.
Daniels, a far 3 from the left wing. And you mentioned the game that Keith Daniels has been having. One of the reasons, the majority reason that Middletown has been in this game so far today has been number 3, Johnson, down low. Can't get the shot, but does get the foul. Plenty of times today he's been going to the line. He'll be going once more. That's on number 2, Hunter, his second. Number 1 for Middletown here in the quarter. Bryson Johnson took 4 free throws in the first half, made all 4 of them. He's now 5 for 5.
Yeah, and if there's one player early in the second half, and especially later in the fourth quarter, if there's one player that you don't want to foul, it's 100% Bryson Johnson. Like we were talking about in that first half, he's been their most consistent free throw shooter with making over 100 throughout the season.
Top 10 in the conference, pushing that over to 80%. He came in today around 78.5%. That is good for 7th in the conference, as he is only driving that up. Comets, a comfortable 7-point lead, the largest they've had today. Daniels is guarded by Tosin Oladapo. Gets the screen. Nevers helps him out. Going in, gets the offensive rebound. After the shot, a lot of movement down. And it's going to go out. It'll be Mason ball, or Middletown ball, it appears. So 21, Nevers. He's taking it in. Ward thought about it. Now at the free throw line. pull-up jumper from the left side doesn't connect. Nice offensive rebound. Going back once again. That one doesn't go. Fighting for the rebound between Wortham, and the jump ball is going to be called. There's Hunter, who went up with it on that left side. Actually going to call a foul, excuse me. That's a foul against Middletown, excuse me. Against number 21, Nevers. So 6 minutes left to go. Take another look at this. He's trying to just get that jump ball, but his hand's getting stuck in there, so they're going to call it. Rejected on the pass. Oladapo is trying to go, but Hunter had other plans. So out of bounds, Mason will try again offensively.
Yeah, Middletown, especially early in the second half, they do not want the Comets to go on a huge run. So they're really going to play aggressive, but one thing about that is that they really can't leave anyone open.
Lupinski out left, now Johnson. Lupinski will take it from the corner and cash it. He's been great from 3 today. That's number 3 for Lupinski from the perimeter. And the Comets now 39-29. Timeout Middletown.
Throughout the season, when we look at Tyler Lupinski, when he starts making at least 2 threes, he's hot for the rest of the game. And that shows tonight. Great pass by Bryson Johnson just to get it back out to Lupinski for the 3. His confidence is at an all-time high right now.
Lupinski got it to Johnson. Johnson said, take it with the hot hand, 13. And he put it up. Tyler Lupinski loves those corners. Is where he has been firing most tonight. And what a job offensively from the Mason Comets here in the third quarter. We talked about it once we got in here of, you want this third quarter now. Middletown played closer than they're supposed to be. But now here in the third, you're hitting some shots, you're making defensive stops. Now you find yourself with a double-digit lead. Middletown takes the timeout, trying to get themselves back into a position as the Mason Comets, like we just mentioned, were able to hold a comfortable lead. Ball be thrown in by Hunter, number 2. Keith Daniels, who we mentioned, a scorching hot first half. He had 10 points just in those first 2 quarters. And a lot of that came because he would do it all himself. Mason would get it too. Daniels, in the blink of an eye, is down by the Mason block, putting one off the board. So during halftime, you got to think that that was something Coach Fleming was really preaching, is stop number 3. He'll pull up for a 3, and it's too far short, falls flat off the rim. Lob pass to Wortham, flings it out to Lupinski, didn't like the look. Now pass out to Jacob. Jacob driving in. Oladapo, 3 from the corner, unable to connect with it, and rebounded by Middletown. Driving all the way, Hunter didn't want to take it from the jumping Oladapo, resets the offense. Finch, a far pass, finds Daniels. Now 3, Hunter from the corner, too far left. The boxing out from Jacob Lupinski. And I believe they call a foul on Lupinski.
I wonder why they called that. It looked like number 32 right there. Caleb Somenutz really kind of pulled him back there. Called a foul on Jacob Lupinski. Middletown gets the ball back. It's something Middletown, their offense is really going to have to look at.
That's actually correction. It was a foul against Middletown. So Mason does get it. Nice job breaking the press. Mason struggled against the press, especially against Princeton a couple weeks ago here in the Mason Arena. And you're seeing it from Middletown. Johnson didn't get it. Fighting for the rebound with Lupinski, but a whistle before he was able to go back up with it. There's a foul. And Lupinski will head to the line. But we mentioned that Princeton game, it was 19-3 at one point in favor of the Vikings, and a lot of that was because Mason had no response for that full court press that Princeton was playing. First free throw's too short for Lupinski. But so far, you're seeing those quick passes. You're seeing your big guy in Jacob Lupinski playing in the middle, guys spreading out towards the outside corners, and it's working.
Yeah, and one thing we've seen with this Comet team is that throughout the season, when it's Bryson Johnson, when he gets hot, that's one thing. But when this whole team can really get something going offensively, it really does branch out to the rest of their play.
Lupinski was able to hit the second free throw. Now Hunter, being guarded by Johnson, kicks it out to Daniels on the right. That is Harris, that is 15. So a uniform switch, it appears. Hunter, 3 from the corner, tries it again, swirls in and out. One of the more unlucky ways to end a shot right there. Johnson on the right elbow. Behind his back now, just kicks it out to Lupinski as they'll reset. 3:25 to go. Johnson all the way, stops, fade away on the jumper. Right by the block. This time he doesn't go all the way, he fades it back. And there's another point for number 1.
Yeah, it was a great job by Johnson right there, really seeing what he was really giving him, really seeing that he doesn't have to go all in for the contact every time. He can step back, get his own space, and just take a shot.
That is 16 points for Bryson Johnson so far here today. We mentioned it has been a while, since the beginning of January, since he last reached that 20 mark. Three-pointer doesn't fall, going for the rebound, and a push foul is going to be called. This time it's to be against Lupinski on the Mason side, as it will. But Johnson now just 4 away from reaching that 20 mark. You see that 3. They've been taking a lot of threes from that close corner. And on the rebound was Hunter, got pushed. And that's only the first foul for the Mason Comets, as Middletown with 4. 3 quickly, bounces off iron, rebounded by Johnson. 2:40 left to go here in the third. Pass down to Wyatt Cooper, now checked in. Tried to get it over to Oladapo. Now pass to Finch, too far. Tries to put it between his legs. I don't quite know how you expect a bouncing pass out of bounds to work. But Mason will take possession as Finch was unable to keep it in.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity right there for the Middletown offense.
And a multitude of times today that's been the case. Some bad passing has really haunted this Middletown offense. Heavy press. Johnson has to get rid of it, then finds Wortham. He now takes it in outright. Connor Chaney sets it up with Bryson Johnson on the left side, guarded by Daniels. No shot. It's going to be a foul against Middletown. That puts Mason in the bonus. That is number 5. So 42-29 is the score with 2 minutes left to go here in the third. As it goes against Keith Daniels, Mason is in the bonus. That is number 3 for Daniels as well. Mentioned leading scorer for both teams. It is both Johnson and Lupinski tied at 16, and then 13 for Daniels. First free throw falls flat for Bryson Johnson. And it feels like here's a game where Mason can avoid playing those close ones. I mean, it's the simple logic. As Johnson hits the second free throw, he now has 17. But Mason is so used to playing those congested games. I mean, this is a team that has played 7 games that have been decided within 5 points. Granted, they've won all 7 of them. And that is crazy in itself, of being 7-0 in games within 5 points. But now you have a comfortable lead. It feels like something Mason's not used to.
Yeah, and them being up 14 right here.
Hunter, 3, off the heel of the rim. Oladapo fighting for the rebound. Finch, he's able to get it out. And now Daniels with Chaney. And it looks like they're going to get Chaney down low.
Yeah, back to what I was talking about earlier. This Comet team, them being up 14 right now, they really have some room to work with. They can definitely play around with some stuff late in this game as long as they don't let Middletown get back in here. But them having a little bit of a larger lead really gives them a bigger chance to kind of cool off a little bit, especially when you have some 2 really tough matchups as your final 2 games of the season with Oak Hills and Lakota West.
Ward fighting with Oladapo. They get the jump ball. And it's going to be Mason possession. Nice aggressiveness from Oladapo, as there was no answer from JoJo Ward. As Toby Oladapo now checks out. You see a little bit of emotion on the face of Coach Fleming. He's got to be proud with how the boys have been playing so far here in the third. Mason will take it out, still facing the press for Middletown. Johnson gets it to Chaney, who now finds the now checked in Cruz Scott. Tosin Oladapo on the right. Harris, tough defense. Now Chaney, 3 from the corner, takes a bounce, and it's offline. A diving pass from Harris. He just loses his footing. No charge, as Lipinski was trying to get it. Daniels was driving in. It's on Jacob Lipinski is the foul, but so Daniels will go to the line for some free throws. As Daniels heads to the line. One free throw is good. Tough defense on the press. There's really nothing that Cruz Scott can do.
Yeah.
But what you can do is get a foul.
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful because there's only 1 minute left of this quarter. One thing you can really do is kind of lay back on the defense, kind of let them kind of move, but just try not to allow any shots. But you don't want to foul right now because in only a minute of game, you're going to go back to 0 fouls and it'll reset, which then you can kind of play more with the aggressiveness on defense. So they got to watch out for that.
That is the first free throw for Cruz Scott this year. Now he's 1 for 1. We wait the second one. Sid Wortham back in the game for Mason. I mentioned a minute 16 left to go. Mason really starting to stretch out this lead. Second free throw is good. So a minute and 10 left in counting for the Mason Comets. It's a 45-32 lead for Mason as they are up 13. We mentioned what playing aggressively can do and get you in foul trouble. And so far, that is what's killing Middletown, as Mason has been in the bonus for both the second and the third quarter. Harris moving in, foul call before he can. That'll be 1 against the Comets. Number 4, that goes against Sydney Wortham, so 1 more in these 46 seconds. Will put Middletown in the bonus. Harris is going to go to the line. First free throw too far, bounces out. Middletown's just trying to find a way to claw back any sort of way. I mentioned it was a first half where Middletown was holding a lead at points. But Mason has just been finding ways to answer, and then shift it more towards their side. Free throw is through. Part of that has to do, I think, with the student section for the Mason side. I mean, that row of seats is completely full. And that's what you have to expect from a pink out game. Usually, no matter what your average student section size is at Mason, pink out is always going to be full. As that pass gets away from Tyler Lipinski, out of bounds, it goes with Middletown. Missed opportunity there offensively for Mason. But that reality, you got to think for the seniors, it's starting to set in a little bit. This is your second to last home game that you're playing in the regular season. Now we don't know what the playoff seeding is going to be. We don't know where the Mason Comets will be going once that win or go home time of year starts to come up. But this is a team full of a lot of second-year players. There's a 3 ball. It's too short. Finch aiming to get the rebound. He's flying all over the place. And a foul is going to be called. That is against Lupinski. That's number 5. So with 18 seconds, Middletown goes into the bonus. But as I was saying, you have this game and you have senior night. And that's it here in the Mason Arena for some of these seniors.
Yeah, and pretty much this season, Mason, mathematically, you are eliminated from GMC title contention, but for these next couple games, they still are very important. If you can win both of these games, you can get a really good playoff seeding and really take advantage of the teams that you play and have a possibility to make a deep run. So these games still very much matter.
Second free throw isn't able to go. But you talk about being eliminated from GMC contention. I don't know if the Comets were projected to be in GMC contention. I mean, granted, you have not only the best, maybe the best team in Ohio, but top in the country in Lakota West. 3-ball way too short. Granny shot, may have had the accuracy. But that'll do it for the third quarter. The Mason Comets hold a 45-34 lead. We'll head to a break when we come back. The fourth quarter here for the Mason Arena.
There are a lot of temptations facing young people today, like electronic cigarettes and skateboarding. Each vape pod can contain the same amount of nicotine as a pack of cigarettes. This can lead today's youth to a lifelong addiction and severe lung damage. Recall and consider the facts before making a poor decision.
The health class film guy isn't the best person to talk to your kid about vaping.
Got a few minutes?
You are. Start the conversation with your child about vaping today.
Get involved with the ICRC-TV program because we need you. Are you interested in broadcasting? Come volunteer and take a role in live TV coverage, high school sports, local concerts, community events. These guys here at ICRC-TV do an incredible job. And I'll say, as a broadcaster, I've been calling games with ICRC-TV for 4 years. It is nice up here. It is nice working with some of these professional grade stuff that these guys have. Huge thank you to ICRC-TV for allowing us to help bring coverage to you at home here in the Mason community. Here in the fourth quarter, Mason a 45-34 lead over the Middletown Middies. Hunter on the left side, guarded by Sid Wortham, tries to get it down to Ward, out of bounds, goes with Mason.
Yeah, one thing I was about to say is that this Middletown offense, especially early in this fourth quarter, they're going to have to play with a lot more aggression, but we see there a little bit of miscommunication, and that's definitely what can come with a little bit too much aggression.
Comets throw it in. Far passes. Oladapo starting to get trapped. Harris. Now the Comets are able to break it. Johnson at the top. We know Middletown is going to foul. They've been playing super aggressively, and that's one of the things that come with playing so aggressive, as Coach Fleming is screaming for a foul. As the Comets were trying to break through. About a minute left, or a minute here into the fourth quarter. It is going to be a foul. Only the first here in the quarter for Middletown. Wortham on the right side, guarded by Hunter. Bounce pass over to Lupinski. There's 4 Comets on the left side. Sid Wortham was the only one over on the right. He'll take a 3 from the wing. Too far left, it rattles off the rim. Fighting for the rebound, Lupinski and Harris on the ground. They collide. They got to stop play. They're going to keep it going. Lupinski's still on the ground. And the 2 goes. As the officials now call a timeout. Lipinski's able to get back up. That was a tough collision from him and Harris down low.
Yeah, something you really don't want to see, fan of either team, especially Jacob Lipinski during this game, really being an important player for this Comet offense and defense.
Lipinski runs off, he checks out. Also got to appreciate Coach Fleming. He's always wearing his green coaching kind of jacket, shown for the pink tonight. You like to see the team even get involved. Oladapo with 6:30 left to go. Johnson all the way. Has no shot, it is a travel. You could see he was moving a little too much. Can't get away with one as big as that. Comets turn it over. So it's a timeout for Mason, 6:29 left to go. Mentioned leading scores for both teams. Almost neck and neck. Bryson Johnson, 17. Keith Daniels was 16. Daniels does have 4 fouls, so one more would take him out of the game. And you can see we haven't seen a ton of Daniels so far here in the fourth quarter because the Comets have been making him foul. Let's take a look at the GMC conference as we head here into the end of the season. We know that the standings are really held by Lakota West, who took down the Princeton Vikings in the Cintas Center just last Friday, really cementing themselves for the GMC title, potentially a state championship team. But look at number 3. That's the Mason Comets. Who was expecting the Mason Comets to be number 3 in the conference this year? I bet you money not a whole lot of people were expecting that. And what a season they've been having. A win today would put them 3 times above 500. An incredible journey.
Yeah, and like you said, not a lot of people really expected this Comet team to really make it far during this season, especially first-year head coach CJ Fleming, really coming in from Baden and just trying to turn this team around. But after one offseason, one summer with these guys, he's really turned around the culture and really got this team a lot stronger.
And I think winning is something that just comes with a coach. Talent plays that role, obviously. Coaching happens, but there's just coaches that win games. There's coaches that'll just flat out win basketball games, and Coach Fleming is that. He went into Baden a few years ago, coming off of a losing season, led them to 2 straight winning seasons, even taking them to the regional semifinals in Division II. And right now he's taking a Mason team who was 4-19 last year, a chance to improve to 15-5 if they can win this game and hold on here today. Foul's going to go against Jacob Lipinski. Now Middletown over on the wing, centering it. Johnson, tough defense on Hunter, and the foul, that's Daniels on the defense. The foul there as well. Not a good couple seconds there from Keith Daniels. Some frustration starting to come. That's number 5 against the leading scorer for Middletown. He is now out for the remainder of this game.
Yeah, and that's really not what you want if you're a Middletown fan. He's been your most consistent player all season, and this game, he got it going in that first quarter and even the first half, but ever since, he really couldn't get much going for this Middletown offense.
Johnson now to Oladapo on the right. Johnson had to spin away from Finch, the defender. Pass down. And Johnson meets the floor as he was trying to go in all the way. That's going to be a foul against Harris. That's number 5 for Harris as well. He's out as well. Johnson, that was a hard landing. You can see him wearing a brace right around his right forearm. Don't want to be taking many bumps there.
Yeah, now that we see Middletown with 2 players who just fouled out, now you're going to see this Mason offense really play quick or slow, but they're going to do whatever they can to really take advantage of this defense and really just pull away.
Fighting going on in the corner, and it's going to be another foul.
That's her 4th of the quarter.
It's already number 4. And just a couple of seconds. Middletown is putting Mason one foul before the bonus. I mean, you understand the fast defense, the aggressiveness, and the quickly travel on Mason, so Middletown will take over. But, I mean, man, you got to be playing smart. The safer basketball is the word. That aggression can be so good. It's helped them cause some turnovers defensively, but it's putting teams in the bonus almost every quarter. Finch with Oladapo, now to Ward on the elbow. Gets it out to the wing to Hunter. Less than 5 to go. Hunter a 3, and that one's cash. Nice 3 there from Middletown, getting a bit of insurance. Now Hunter, the leading scorer, after Daniels fouled out, he has 10. High pass. Oladapo wasn't able to get there. It was over his head and too far. So a turnover from Mason. And it's only a 6-point game. I mean, that is a huge 3 from Hunter.
Yeah, great play by the sophomore guard right there. Really just taking that shot. He knows that his team is down and that they need something quick. They're down 16. He knows that they need those shots, and he was able to deliver right there.
And Hunter was held scoreless versus the Mason Comets in the first meeting. He's been doing a very nice job today of putting the team alongside of Daniels. 3 from the top, too far, off the iron. And that's going to be another foul against Middletown as Lupinski was going in. Excuse me, that's going to go against Middletown, or Mason, excuse me. That's number 2. I believe they called that against Wortham. So Middletown will take it under the basket of Mason as now Wortham checks out. Now Ward been quieter in the second half. He hit a couple of big shots in the first quarter, which helped Middletown really stay in. Hunter, he's been the one leading charge for the offense after the fouling out of Keith Daniels. So Nevers, now Ward at the top. That is Hill, number 10, on the left wing, checked in for Middletown. Finch all the way, doesn't get the one to go. Just trying to go in, just try and muscle out any points. Wasn't able to get the bounce. Still a press. Lupinski going in all the way. Once the foul, doesn't get it, gets his own rebound. And now finally a whistle right around the free throw line as the Mason Comets were trying to get a second chance. Mason will head to the free throw line. It is another foul against Middletown. That goes on Hill, number 10. That's his first.
Yeah, and that's the bonus right there. So 3.5 minutes left of this game. Mason's going to have opportunities to shoot from the free throw line, which is one of the things that they're one of the best at.
Jake Lupinski hits the first free throw. Another big shout out to the Black Hole, wearing all of their pink tonight. Pretty solid showing. Both free throws connect for Jacob Lupinski. He's had a solid night from the free throw line. Toby Oladapo checks out. The free throws make it an 8-point game with 3:25 left to go. 47-39 was the score. Deflected away from Lupinski. It was last touched by 23, and Middletown is going to keep possession. Finch throws it in to Hunter. I mentioned Hunter in the double digits for points. Solid game that he's had, only had 6 versus Hamilton last time out. A hold, no shots. Some late interactions going on after the whistle. It's going to be a foul against Wortham. That's number 4. And Nevers is going to go to the line. That's number 3 for Mason here in the 4th. So Mason in the bonus. Wortham checks out. Mason has the bonus. 3 fouls surrendered from Mason. There will be no free throws. As I said, the foul going on before the shot and anything to go after. Finch, guarded by Johnson. 3 from Ward on the right. 2 short. And the Comets are able to get the rebound. They'll have to break the press. Deflected away. Oladapo, a jump. Comets don't have much time. And a timeout from Coach Fleming saves the violation. It'll be a full timeout. The Comets still up 8 with 2:41 left to go. And talk about the game that Tyler Lupinski has had for the Mason Comets so far today. We mentioned that he had his best game of the season versus Elder just this past week when he had 15 points. He's already topped that over 16, and it came from a couple of threes from the corner, but also just driving in himself. The senior having a career game here on Pink Out Night.
Yeah, he's done a great job throughout this game. I mean, we always talk about Bryson Johnson during this game. He has 17 points right now, 0 fouls also, but you look at Tyler Lipinski, and he's been a very complete player during this game. Someone that Coach Fleming has also been relying on throughout this season, and he's really stepped up to his place tonight.
Versus Cincinnati College Prep, Tyler Lipinski only had 4 points in that game, and it tied his career high was 15 versus Elder. Before that, he had 15 against Middletown last year. In that game, Middletown was one of the tougher teams in the GMC last year. Mason, we mentioned, was 4-19, but Mason went into Middletown and went and got the job done. They got a win, and a lot of that came because of both Johnson and Tyler Lupinski. Cruz Scott unable to get in. Now Middletown a chance. Wide open 3 from the corner. Middletown showing a lot of life here in these last couple of minutes in the fourth. It is 47-42. Just a 5-point game. As a whistle is called, there'll be a foul against Middletown. It's a hold. That goes against number 20 and Landon Finch. With some nice shooting, Middletown is keeping themselves close. Cruz Scott takes the first free throw, bounces a couple times and goes. That was Hill on the three-pointer for Middletown. But how big free throws are going to be now? I mentioned you're in the bonus, 2:22 left to go. Send yourself to the free throw line and connect on them. Cruz Scott is able to connect on both. We're back to a 7-point lead for Mason, 49-42, as Scott checks out. Not exactly move quick mode now for Middletown, but clock is not in your favor. As Nevers on the left side, guarded by Tyler Lupinski, resets it up to Hunter. Far pass. Ward on the left side, being guarded by Jacob Lupinski, makes a move left, step back, jump shot, and it goes. Nice move there. And Middletown just keeps on answering back, but the Comets, Toby Oladapo got the 2. You don't see him making a lot, but he's able to right there. And a big shot from the senior, and a foul going against the Comets, as number 10, Hill, was trying to break through. The Mason side not appreciating the call. That goes against Jacob Lupinski. That's his 4th. One more would send him out of the game. We've already seen a couple players on Middletown foul out. How about that? That is a physical play for Toby Oladapo, and he makes it. And a travel is called early against Middletown. They turn it over. A bad mistake there from the middies, and Mason is going to now take over. 1:31 left to go.
Yeah, turnovers for if you're Middletown here, turnovers is not what you want right now, especially against this Comet team that can take advantage of your defense. But as we see right here, Middletown gets the ball back.
Very quickly, it was a jump ball. It does go in favor for Mason, but right now this press is stopping the Comets. A foul is going to go against Hill. So for Middletown, it kind of appears it is foul or jump ball. Just hope for one of those. Hill coming in flying. It was both him and Nevers. So Lupinski will go to the line. He's been superb from the free throw line so far today. First one's up, and it's good. It's been Tyler Lupinski who's mainly been that big free throw shooter, roughly around 78%. And then you look at Jacob Lupinski, just around 61. He's really been driving up that percentage so far today. A nice showing from both Lupinski twins here on this Friday night.
If you're Middletown here, one thing you got to look at, you have one player who has 4 fouls. That's Amir Nevers, number 21. He is one of your tallest players on the court right now.
Nevers, Ward, 3 from the wing, too far left. Comes between the rim and the backboard. Was rebounded by Oladapo. He wanted to get it to Lupinski, but it's intercepted. Ward driving in all the way off the glass. 53-46. The timeout is called from Middletown. 1 minute and 2 left to go here in the fourth quarter. It is a 6-point game.
I'm surprised they did not call a foul there. Looked like
Oladapo was trying to set himself for a charge.
Yeah, it looked like Lipinski there kind of got checked. But you see Middletown, they took advantage. They forced the Comets to turn the ball over, and they got another couple points to cut this game to a 7-point game with about 1 minute of play to go. So if you're Mason here, you gotta play some tough, aggressive defense, but you can't let anyone open for this Middletown team. But they really haven't had to worry about that all game.
And this game is a bit closer than it feels. It feels like Mason has been taking control a lot of the second half, but Middletown has kept clawing. Feels like every time that Mason gets a shot, Middletown is quickly answering right back. It's just been that lack of a run that has been keeping Middletown behind so far. Tough defense on the press. Johnson back in, going one-on-one. Foul, doesn't get the shot. He'll go to the line. As there's another foul from Middletown. That goes against Finch. That's his 4th. One more would take 20 out of the game. That would not be good for Middletown, as he's been one of their more explosive defenders. Johnson, we mentioned, not the guy that you want at the line for Middletown. First free throw is good. 18 points on the day for Bryson Johnson. Probably doesn't know how many, well, actually would know how many points he has. It flashes on the board after each basket, but he wants to get to that 20, and he is now 1 away with 19 after hitting both free throws. We'll see if Hunter and this Middletown offense has any sort of response. Less than a minute to go. The clock is not in their favor. Finch, guarded by Oladapo. They're just going to have to get something off. Nevers thought about the pass, now elects to keep it. Finds Ward. Ward going all the way. Not much you can do there if you're Wortham. They got to 2. Clock is still running, less than 30 seconds. Middletown's going to likely have to foul now at this point. Mason's just going to run this clock down. And finally, the foul. Whoever it's on is fouled out. So it's both Nevers and Finch. And it's going to go against Nevers. So he will be out of the game with these last 17 seconds left to go. As Sid Wortham will go to the line. Hasn't been at the line tonight. A 72% free throw shooter. Just trying to give a little extra cushion and really set this one apart as much as it can. 17 seconds left. First free throw from Wortham is good. And you have 2 games left after this if you're the Mason Comets. You have senior night this Tuesday versus Oak Hills. Then you have the daunting task of going to Lakota West. But that game, likely not as, you could say, maybe competitive as you would expect. Both teams will have their playoff seeding. Lakota West will have the GMC clinched. But it might feel a little bit good if you're able to go there, have an incredible performance, and one from Ward. And he has played his heart out today as he'll head to the line for an and one. That makes the score 57-50. But James, a win today improves the Mason Comets to 15-5. And you go 10-4 in the division. You weren't expecting to have double-digit wins in conference this year. It has been S+ for the Mason Comets this year.
Yeah, it's been a great season for them overall. I mean, whether they lose in the first round or whether they make a deep run in the postseason, it's still been a fantastic season for them, especially when you have the seniors like Bryson Johnson, both Lipinski brothers, really going out in the last run. They've done a really good job this season.
And you have the senior presence in the Lipinskis and Johnson as the free throws through, but you have youth too. You have Wortham, Tosin Oladapo, both Cheney and Scott, the freshman. It is a bright future for the Mason Comets. Wortham tries to dunk, not even close, as we hope to never see Sydney Wortham go up for a dunk like that ever again, but it's fun to have a chance. The Mason Comets, a 57-51 win over the Middletown Middies, maybe a little closer than you would expect. But a win is a win, a successful pink out night for the Mason Comets. They're able to get it done at home.
Yeah, and this Mason Comet team, they really did play a really great second half. They played a great game overall, but we saw this game, like you said, was a lot closer than last time. We saw Middletown really key on some things that the Comets did last time, but Comets really played with the big fire tonight, and they're going to really need to keep that up heading into two tough games with Oak Hills and Lakota West.
Mason improves to 15-5, 10-4 in the conference. Next up, they have Oak Hills at his senior night for the Middletown Middies, 1-14, 1-13 in conference. They have Coleraine this upcoming Tuesday at home. The Comets get a win.